Today's podcast is brought to you by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. When it comes to home and auto insurance, it's important to have the right coverage from a company and an agent you can trust. Someone who will help you properly protect the people and things you love most. So if the unexpected happens, you and your family can rest insured. To request a free quote, find your local KFB insurance agent at mykfbagent.com. Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment. Hey, Matt, how's it going?
I'm good. It is warmer.
It's so warm.
It's warmer. It's great.
We ate lunch outside twice this week.
Yeah, so my son does high school baseball. And the thing I've learned is that you never have baseball weather the whole high school season because of the timing of it, right? Like the last game of the season, you're like, hey, it's 60, you know, and it's freezing. You're like wearing coats and the kids, they got like undershirts. We buy them all these undershirts. Last night we had a scrimmage and it was beautiful. I was like, I can do this all night. It's great. Like, this is what it's going to be.
Like the sun went down and everyone was like, oh man, do we have to put on a jacket? It got a little chilly.
Jacket.
And I was like, this is awesome.
This is amazing. And I hope it sticks around. But it was funny. It was a scrimmage and we have another one today.
Okay.
And it's going to be nice again today. Whoop. But game one, like a real one that counts, it'll be 12 degrees.
Oh.
You know it's happening. It's Kentucky.
For sure.
It's totally going to turn around and smack us one.
And we've been predicting a storm system for 3 straight weeks. And then, yesterday, the weatherman's like, well, too early to tell what's going to happen. And I was like, you've literally told me a storm's coming for what feels like 3 weeks. But you're right. We're going to have some front come through. It will be freezing cold, and your kid will wear all of his Under Armour apparel again. Because, that's what happens.
Got all the gear on, yeah. But so something you brought up before we hit on here is I'm a dad, and dads like to cut grass.
I mean, right? 70 degrees, I assume you're starting to mark on your calendar when it's happening.
Yeah, my lawn is very important. All right. So something that the video team brought up once. Okay, so 2 of us are from the Louisville area, and one of us is from Marshall County. Okay?
What, West Kentucky?
So in Marshall County, Austin Anderson brought up that people say, how do you say doing work in your grass? Like, how do you call that?
We mow the yard.
You mow the yard.
We mow the yard.
In Louisville, we cut the grass.
What?
That's a thing.
Like,
that's what I said. That's what.
So do you call it a yard?
No.
It is the grass. You want to make sure we know exactly what you're cutting?
This right here, grass.
This green thing coming out of the ground, we're only cutting those. We're not going to cut a tree. We're going to cut the grass.
Yeah.
We mow a yard. Maybe that's why. It's because anything in our way, mowing it down.
We're not.
We're just, West Kentucky, we'll mow anything on the yard. We're just knock it out.
We're just cutting the grass. Because mostly, when you live in Louisville, you just have grass. You don't have, I guess maybe that's where it comes from. I don't know. But yeah.
That is so interesting.
Thing, and he said it, and I go, come on. And then we started kind of walking around the office. Because what's cool about Farm Bureau's office, there's people from all over the state that work here. And it was 100% true. If you're a rural background, you say mow the yard.
Yeah,
and
not lawn.
If you're a city boy, you say cut the grass.
I'll be.
Yeah, this is a big deal.
I'm so going to pay attention to this for the next couple weeks as people are like, you know what I'm doing after work today? And I'm going to be like, but what are you doing? Tell me in exact verbiage what you're doing.
Tell me how you say it.
So, okay, question. Do you mow the grass, or does your wife, do you well, you have a son that's at home old enough to
yeah.
Okay, so my husband says all the time that I do not mow the grass, okay? But he changes direction every time to make it even, whatever, I don't know. And I just tell him I just don't feel like I do it right, so I just let him do it. And he's convinced, I'm not that picky. Oh, no, you're picky.
Yeah. I'm in the sweet spot of having a teenage boy in the house, right? So as much as I do enjoy the serenity of just firing up the old mower,
putting on those big headphones, turn on your radio,
listening to some loud music while cutting the grass, wherever I am, I also enjoy sitting on the porch watching my son do it. Okay, it's great, right? So he does. So we do it together. So he cuts the grass. Cuts the grass. He cuts the grass.
Gosh, this guy.
And I do all the trimming and I blow behind. I blow everything off and clean it all up after him because he's not going to do that right. But he can cut the grass, right? So, but he's got to learn how to do this stuff, because he's gonna do this in his life.
He's gonna be the man of the house one day.
He's gonna be the man of the house. But he's also just he's just young and strong and just doesn't get tired.
Yeah.
And I just do,
So the funny thing in our family, there's 5 of us, and the first 4, I'm trying to find a nice way to say this. We all grew at normal average pace. My younger sister has a condition where she just didn't grow as fast. So the joke always was like, oh, me and my brother, like my dad was so ready for us to start mowing the grass, he could have stuck a brick under our butt just to keep it moving. And then my younger sister, she was so itty bitty, he was like, that doesn't seem right. Like we probably shouldn't do that. So the older ones, we mowed a lot of grass. Like we did a lot of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is funny that moment when you put your boy on the mower. It is a dad moment. Like it's a whole thing. All I was doing when I was mowing was trying to even out my shin guard tan from playing soccer. That's literally the only reason I ever wanted to do it.
But it goes like this: like he wants to do guy stuff, and then he does it a few times, and I'm like, "This is yours now." And now he's in that stage where I don't really need to cut the grass, mow the yard.
Mow the yard.
So yeah, he's in that stage where he's now kind of like, I got ball, I got baseball, I'm like, yeah, but you got 2 hours is what you got. And you're going to go do that.
And you know what that mower has? Gas in it.
It's got gas in it that I have provided and a lovely lawnmower. So go ahead and you get started. I'll come down and clean up and we'll get this done. Well, a lot of it, I got about an acre. I'm not a farmer. I just got my little acre neighborhood yard kind of thing. And, when we do it, it cuts like an hour off time. We can just do it real quick when he helps me. And that's what I really tell him. It's like, man, I'd be out here all day doing this. So, but yeah, and he's only going to be here a couple more years. And then I'm back to mowing the yard all by myself.
Here's our other spring moment. He's going to be so mad I did this. Okay, so my husband walked in the other day and he says, it's time to switch. And so normally when he's like going in and out with his like quick shoes to put on, he throws on Hey Dudes. Okay. He brought the Crocs out and he said, honey, it's Croc time.
It's Croc season.
Croc season. And I was like, I don't think you understand how many people in our life will completely relate to this. Like, it's a moment where it's like, I can have a little breathability. It's not that cold. Like, it's a moment.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I guarantee you when this post on Monday, we are going to have like 10 degrees and we're going to sound real dumb.
It's Kentucky. It'll be frozen by the time this posts. Yeah.
But for all the listeners, happy almost mowing season, mow the yard season, and happy Croc season.
Yes.
Spring has sprung.
We're here. So, yeah. So, speaking of spring, you can go, look at this transition.
I'm a darn.
You can go to one of our certified farm markets and start being a part of what they grow here locally.
Yeah, and they love for repeat customers, of course, after a frost, but they also love to educate you so you don't have to come rebuy your product. And they would love to help you know how to cover them and do all those things. And our Farm Woman of the Year announces her date for her opening, and we're going to put a link to this farm markets in there so you can see when all the rest of them open closer to your area. But we are going to talk some flowers. We're going to talk some farming. We're going to talk some family. So it's a very Farm Bureau podcast today.
Yeah. So we went when we always do videos on our winners of things. So we've visited Kori and her family and her market and farm and all that. And she's great. Just young, energetics on social media, does all kinds of fun stuff. So I think she's a great conversation today, and I think our listeners really like it.
Yeah, it'll get you excited for the spring season if our mow the yard conversation didn't do that for you. So without further ado, I'm Renee Carrico.
And I'm Matt Hilton.
And this is Between the Rows. All right, Kori, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Where did you travel in from here today?
Scottsville, Kentucky.
Oh my! So what you're coming to see us, and then you're going. Where are you going?
We're going to the Farm Bureau Women's Conference.
Very good, very good. So this will post the day after that's over.
Yep.
But to talk about that, what is the Women's Conference? What are you looking forward to doing here?
Well, this is going to be my first year going. Usually, and I'm busy at the farm, but I kind of wanted to go and be a part of it this year. We're going to be on the riverboat tonight. Yeah. And then my daughter and I are going to go to the Creation Museum tomorrow. So
Nice.
I look forward to going to all the things and hearing everybody speak.
Yeah.
We've been laughing about the riverboat like literally just yesterday. I know this will post after, but they put that on there like as a pre-event, just like, if anybody comes in early, like, depend on weather or whatever. I think there's like 3/4 of the women are going tonight, and they had to like expand the hotel blocks. We're like, we didn't expect this many for Thursday night. It's a good problem, but I was like, man, these women really want to hang out on a boat. But I've heard that's a really fun time, so y'all have to.
Well, I'm not
check
dressing
back
up,
with us.
so
I don't blame you. Okay, so you said something about the farm. Let's just dive right into that part. What do you guys do down in Scottsville?
Well, a little bit of everything. We like to say we're very diversified, And right now we're potting flowers. We get plugs in starting December, and we're still potting. So Micah actually just texted me, my husband, and he said, I think you have enough plugs left. I could build 2 more greenhouses. So I said, well, we'll make it work. It's going to be fine. So my mother-in-law's there helping right now. And then we have another, it's a student at the high school. She's co-oping now. So that's been a really big help for me. But she's sick right now. So that's why the mother-in-law is there and filling in for her. So, but yeah, we've got all the flowers going on. We open March 29th. So we'll be ready for that hopefully. And we have cattle. I take care of the cattle. We feed them twice a day. And then we have petting zoo animals. We have a sheep. We have sheep. I say a sheep. We have 3. We have a ram in there now and 2 lambs. So hopefully we'll have babies soon. And we have a miniature horse and a miniature cow and a goat. So kind of random. And we raised corn this year. We're going to start chopping our own corn for feed, try to save money. You know, everything, the cost of everything's going up. So we're going to try to do that. And then we also harvest our corn crop. We did that this past year. We always harvest the corn maze. So in the fall, that's what we do. We have the ag tourism thing. We sell mums and pumpkins, do hay rides, playground, all the things.
Yeah. So what's the market called? Just to get a little plug in here.
Peachtree Farm and Greenhouse.
Yeah. So we'll put a link in there if you want to see what you're up to. I think what's cool about what you all do is what you actually don't do. Well, I guess you are doing it on the farm, but the social media element that you guys really do. You try to do a lot of things where you kind of tell your story about your market and what you guys are up to. Talk about what do you do social media wise and where can people find you, but also why? Why do you do that?
Well, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and we are on YouTube. We've kind of been slacking on posting videos because we're so busy right now. But we do that so that people can kind of see what the life, or my life every day, what I do and what it takes to produce the things that we do. It's a lot of hard work. And I think if it was me on the outside looking in, it would be neat to see, you know, what does it take to get all this done? And so we just try to expose people to the agriculture world and show them what hard work does.
So you talked about kind of piecing on that. You talked about your mother-in-law, right? That's helping today. So are you both from the area? Kind of explain what got y'all there and got you started even doing some of this.
Okay. My mother-in-law is from Russell Springs, the Jamestown area, Lake Cumberland. So that's where Micah grew up. Micah and I met at Western, and we were both ag majors.
Go Tops.
Go Tops. Yes. I was ag business, and he was animal science. And we got married actually after he graduated. So I was a little bit after him. And we kind of traveled all over Kentucky with his job. And luckily, blessed, landed back in my hometown. Never thought I would be back in my hometown, honestly. But that's where the Lord led us, and that's where we are. And we're on the farm where I grew up. And we built a house there. And then we kind of just started out with cattle. That's kind of all we knew at the beginning. And then we're like, well, we need to kind of do something else. He wanted to raise tobacco, and I said, nope, not doing that. You know, it's kind of that industry's kind of went out anyway, but I just had no interest in doing that. So we planted peach trees. We planted 120 is what we started out with, and we just planted probably 40 to 50 more, roughly. We planted those kind of by the house so people can see our peach trees. Typically, everybody's like, where are your peach trees? So I'm always like, way over there, you know, but it's just on the other side of the farm. So we kind of wanted it to be seen. And we planted some different varieties, maybe more cold tolerant. So we're crossing our fingers right now that we don't have a frost in April, because I think we're going to make it through March at least. So they'll start blooming soon. So we're trying to get that. Well, and we started out with cattle and peach trees, and then we started potting mums. So pretty much within a 3-year time span, we have went from cattle, peaches, and put a mum pad down, had 900 and something mums starting out, and now we're at 1,300. And we went from those 3 greenhouses. Well, we built the cabin. So let's back up. We did the mum pad, built the cabin, and then all of a sudden, 3 big greenhouses go up, all within 3 years, and now we have 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, we just finished up the 5th one, like, recently. So.
And you're full-time on the farm?
Yes. And I homeschool the children.
I was about to say, one of the bosses is with you, right?
Yes, Carol. So.
Awesome. That's incredible. So talk through why farm? Why do it? Why go back and keep expanding? Micah works an off-farm job, and, you could have both done that. Why keep doing it and expanding and diversifying?
Well, he works for Purina, and he really loves that job. I think the goal for both of us is for him to be there one day. That's the goal anyway. We keep expanding the greenhouse business, so if it keeps growing, I'm going to need him there full time. He was gone on a work trip actually, he just got back last night, and I was like, I really need you here because sometimes I just need some help with manpower. But we do this because I sat at a desk for 6 years, and I was miserable. I worked at the farm service agency. I loved helping the farmers, seeing the farmers, and being there like that. But sitting at a desk was about to kill me. And I came home one day and I just told Mike, I said, I'm going to be a miserable lady if I have to retire sitting all the time because I'm a busybody. And I like to be outside. And we had already got a lot of stuff going on the farm, and we knew it was going to take more time. So then I felt led to homeschool the kids, and he was on board with it. So as soon as Corbin started pre-K, kindergarten, and everything, we've homeschooled from day one. So I was lucky enough to come home and do that. So pretty much I started out just homeschooling and kind of taking care of the cattle, and then I said, I need more to do. And we just keep adding more to do. And we still have more ideas. We're even looking at maybe putting up a sheep barn.
Oh.
Yeah, like a hoop barn. So
yeah,
I really enjoy the animals. I never thought I would be at this point with the animals, but I really have enjoyed it. So I think Mike has kind of made me because he's gone all the time. And so I've gotten used to the cattle now and everything. So, but yeah, I just think it's a good way of life. And I hope that it's teaching our kids good work ethic and teaching them that you have to work to get anywhere and do what you love to do. I mean, hopefully they see that I enjoy it and know that's what, you want to be happy with your life. So,
yeah. Why do you think it's been successful? Is it, I think often these markets, because they allow themselves to be exposed to the public by having the public come to it, that so much of their success is people just kind of cheering you on by their dollars, that they see your efforts. Mm-hmm. Obviously with all the social media that you do, you put yourself out there that you can watch me do this and see me do this. And do you think that's a part of some of the success that you've had and that rapid growth that you've had to deal with or happily deal with?
No, I think so. It's always good when people come out to the farm and they're like, oh, I love watching your videos. And I'm like, oh, I'm glad somebody's watching them, because you just never know. But I have a lot of people that really like them and enjoy them and talk about how hard we work. So people are seeing it, and it's social media gets your name out there, and it's the cheapest way to do it, honestly. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can boost a post for nothing compared to like being on the radio and all the things that cost a lot of money. So I think it's helped us a lot. Our page is growing tremendously, really.
Yeah.
So how does it feel? We do plan. This is kind of designed because you are this year's Farm Woman of the Year. How does that feel? And kind of what does that mean to you to be the Farm Woman of the Year?
Well, it's an honor, honestly. Like I said, I love what I do, and I enjoy every minute of being out on the farm. And to be complimented and awarded for something that I love, is just an honor. I was very excited about it. I mean, they called and they're like, "Can we nominate you?" And I was like, "Oh my goodness, sure." So to know that I won out of amazing women. I mean, I know we had a lot of incredible candidates. I even knew some of them and went to college with one. It was just amazing to get that phone call. So I was out in the pumpkin patch when he called.
How fitting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think what you're talking about, I think what's unique about that award is identifying women within the industry that are doing the work. I mean, you're doing all the work, and it's not that's a case more than maybe people know. I think I always bring up, like, hey, if you asked a kid to draw a farmer, what do they draw, right?
A man.
Right. And I think that's changing. One thing that I've noticed just in Farm Bureau in my life is how much that's changed in our organization. Also in farming. How many times I go to farms and that's the case now. And I think that's great that they're doing that award to kind of put a little spotlight on that.
Yes.
Our farmer of the year this year was a woman. And I think that's going to be the case more and more too. So how does it feel to be, a part of that kind of that growth of women, just at least even just being highlighted in agriculture? It's not like this is new, but it's being just featured a little more and talked about a lot more.
I think it's neat that they're, trying to spotlight us, because even as a kid, I wanted to be on the farm more, but, my dad was older, and that generation, women didn't do that. That was not a common thing, but I was always begging to be the one out there helping and doing. And I think he sees now that I could have been a lot of help to him. Yeah. And he sees how hard I work and knows that I really enjoy it. But they, back then they had the mindset, you go to college, you go to work, and you do this, and this is how it is, But I think it's just the key to happiness and finding what you love and finding your passion. You don't have to just settle for any old job, I don't think. And if women feel the need to be the farmer, then that's fine. But my husband and I both love working together. Like, I know a lot of people say, if I had to work every day with my husband, I'd kill him, But no, he spoils me. I tell him all the time, I'm like, we work together all weekend, and then he has to leave during the week. I'm like, okay, this stinks. But so, like I said, that's the goal for maybe both of us, to be at home. But I think women, if that's what they want to do and that's makes them happy, then more power to them. I mean, I think that taking that step from not having a public job was a big deal, because, I carried insurance and all the things, and it was kind of scary, but I wish I'd have done it sooner at this point. So.
Yeah, I think there's just and it's not, we can need to quit saying old school mentality. It was the way of what worked in that stage of farming.
Yeah. Right.
Those people that farmed through the 70s and 80s, they needed someone in town with the insurance job. There were so many other, not that we don't have plenty of things hitting us too, but there were many other things hitting them in the face.
Right.
The only thing of stability in the 80s might have been that insurance job that the wife was doing a lot of times. But you talk about working with your husband. I think that's one of my favorite parts going into this weekend with the women's conference is a lot of husbands do end up going. They're equal partners.
Right.
Whether they were, I don't think social media did enough justice back in the day because it wasn't there. Maybe they were just the decisions at the table, but those women were in the decisions.
Yes.
And so I do think it's neat. You say that, yes, it's cool to be highlighted, but also the flip side of that, you love your husband, you love working with your husband. Your kids get to see you and him working and farming side by side. I mean, that has to mean a lot, knowing you're getting to raise them literally 24 hours a day, getting to see that.
No, I think it's good to see your mother and father working together like that and getting along and seeing that that's what they should look for in a spouse even. I think that's very important. So
talk about one of my favorite parts about you guys is Woman of the Year, Women's Committee and those kind of activities is really not the place you guys have been the most active as of now, but you guys have been incredibly active Farm Bureau members. So you've almost gotten to taste test a lot of different areas. So talk through what you and Micah and your family have been able to be involved in on the Farm Bureau side, whether it's local or state level. What kind of things have you guys been doing?
Well, he is now the chair of the Generation Bridge. over the state. He was at the county level before, and then he kind of took a job with Farm Bureau and then went back to Purina. But anyway, I took over that Generation Bridge chair for a little while, so I worked with the committee. And I got on the women's chair around that time, and now I'm still on the women's committee. So we try to do a lot of things within our community. I help out as much as I can, considering how busy we are at the farm. But Martha has got me very involved, and now we're going to the women's conference together. So I think it's just important for women to also understand how involved they can be with Farm Bureau and how much fun it can be and helpful they can be to the community. So I don't think a lot of people understand what Farm Bureau is more than just insurance. So
yeah, I think one thing that as a video guy, how much easier sometimes things. A lot of the women are as good advocates as anyone. We'll just say that they're well spoken. They're very knowledgeable what's going on, and sometimes a really good interview, really easy interview. And I think that's true all over the place. We hear from American Farm Bureau how great advocates women are within the industry, and I think that's fueled a lot of it is seeing more and more women involved in this organization from everywhere I look. And it's because everybody's kind of going, yeah, they're pretty good at this. Actually, there's it's something different, and I think it's because of some of those biases and those perceptions of agriculture through the years. It's a surprising still somehow. I don't really get it, but I think it's probably still surprising to some folks.
Well, we actually, we started out as the young farmer group too, which it was kind of sad to move up to Generation Bridge. I'm like, wait a minute. But we did get Young Farm Family of the Year award too. So that's something we have accomplished as well. But, going into that, being a part of the committee, we went into that seeing that there's not a lot of young people involved anymore. And we've got to find people that want to be involved because these older generations are going to be gone one day. And who's going to serve on committees? Who's going to go to these events and represent Farm Bureau and stuff? So when Caitlin, there's a girl at home, her name's Caitlin, and she and I both got on the committee, and they were explaining to us that they haven't had very many scholarships in a while, for the scholarships they give away. So we went to the schools and talked to the kids and promoted it and got the most applicants they've had in a long time. So, there's a lot of things that I think are important that we need to get out there. Kids need to know that we offer that kind of stuff and that there's more to it. So
absolutely. So you've lived a lot of different facets in agriculture. Is there any person that maybe has been a mentor or someone you've looked up to as you're creating this market, diversifying, coming home? Is there anyone, woman, male or female, that you've just looked up to that's almost been a mentor going into the ag industry?
Well, coming home, we'll start out there. I have two best friends that homeschool their kids as well, and they were very encouraging and very helpful in making that decision because it was scary, like I said, and they just said I have to believe and have faith that it's going to work, and it did. So my credit for the homeschool thing goes out to them and just taking the leap of coming home from a desk job. And we call the community Granddaddy. We named a greenhouse after him. We actually got the 3 big greenhouses from him. So actually every greenhouse we have is somebody who has gotten out of the tobacco industry. And he pretty much, it was a long greenhouse, so we've made it into 3. It was that big. And he just said, I'm not using it anymore. If you want to come take it down and put it back up, then so be it. And we took it down and put it back up. It was a lot of work, but, we're very appreciative. Like, we can't thank him enough because he got us started and believed in us and comes and supports us and shares all of our social media. If nobody else is going to share it, Granddaddy's going to share it. So we can't thank him enough, like I say. And he's just played a big role in this to get us started. Of course, that was a big cost to get all that stuff, but there was additional cost. It wasn't just you got to get your plastic and your fans and heaters and all that kind of stuff. So, but it was a big help to get started through him. And then we've had 2 other farmers also just say, we have a small greenhouse, and she said, we're not using it, and it's already tore down. That one was already tore down. So Micah just went and got that one. But it's been pretty amazing. And we're starting to hear that that's how people have started. I think Mammoth Cave Transplants, I think she started out that way and has grew into huge business, So maybe that'll be us one day. I don't know. But she has a lot of greenhouses. So. But I kind of look up to her. I think that's amazing. But yeah, my dad, he's helped us. And then my mother-in-law helps us a lot, but my father-in-law, he helped more than he knew about. He passed away on New Year's Day. So when you lose somebody like that, you start to and then you start working, and you're like, he really was a big help. And he's always like, I'm in the way, stuff like that. But it's good to have family to support you and be there for you, and I'm thankful for them as well. But my dad, he helped out, and he's 80, so he would just hand tools and do what he could, and he's helped us pull plastic over the greenhouses. So I'm appreciative for him, and he actually finally has complimented me. He gave me a little positivity about it, so that was good to hear, because he's just a quiet man and you don't hear much from him. So I just appreciate all those people being a part of this. So
it's a very ag dad thing. I didn't tell you did anything wrong, so you should have figured out that meant you're doing something right.
Right.
They don't have a need to say they're right. And it's so cute, because the older I get, the more people I talk to, I'm like, oh, so that was everybody's dad. We all had that. My mom was one that was like, that meant you did good. I was like, oh, okay, not being told that was wrong. That meant. So that is a big moment. Most of our ag listeners, especially the girls, are going to be like, I've been there.
That's dads in general, too.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Good to know.
Yeah, when you get a compliment from dad, it's a big deal. Yeah.
It's a full, a true compliment. You're like, what? I did something right?
Yes,
wow,
exactly.
Yeah. So I was about to say, I'm a young lady. Should I join Farm Bureau? But think about that. The young women out in Kentucky that aren't completely. We got people laughing for that.
Sorry, I should have looked at Austin.
But there's a lot of young women all over the state that maybe aren't involved.
Yeah.
What do you recommend to them? Should they? How should they get involved? What should they do? How do they get into this organization? We just had a Collegiate Farm Bureau person on the podcast that's coming up. Mm-hmm. Was a great chat too. So, how do people get involved? And do you recommend it?
Oh, I highly recommend it. If you have a business anywhere near what we have, it doesn't have to be on the scale that we have, I don't think, to be a part of the farm market program. You can just have a small fruit stand or something and be a part of the farm market. A friend is finding these places all over now and adding to the numbers. But it's a very good networking thing. We have our own little community and we help each other out. It's not, the ag industry is sometimes, it can be like, I don't want to tell you what I'm doing versus other people, but everybody is so supportive of each other and encouraging, and they're there to help you and talk to you about things. They're not, they're going to do what I'm doing. It's not been like that at all. And I really appreciate that about that farm market program. And it just helps you out. And I don't know, it's good networking. And I've met a lot of people. So, but then on the women's committee, like I was saying, there's a lot of things you can do for your community. If you want to get involved, you can be as involved as you want to be. But I think all women should be a part of it if they care about the ag industry at all, really, because you are the voice. So,
and I got one more question to bounce off of that. Do you feel like, so young farmer programming is kind of known for bring the family, bring the kids. Do you feel like that made it easier for you to transition into kind of a women's role because your family was involved? It feels easy to bring them along because you and Mike are really similarly involved in Farm Bureau. Not one is more involved than the other. Do you feel like that family aspect helps with that?
Yes, I do. We haven't really took to the kids to a whole lot because my mother-in-law keeps them. But
that helps.
Yeah, I think it's good to know that we can because, we'll probably have to eventually. And then for her to be able to join me for this women's conference, I think it's good to get the kids exposed to this so that when they grow up, they know, hey, I got to do this with Farm Bureau. It's going to be kind of a lifestyle for them. They're going to know it already and not have to learn about it kind of like we did, really. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we cannot thank you enough for being here. This has been a wonderful conversation. I didn't have to ask you about the farm market program. Fran would have gotten mad if we didn't bring it up, so you did it for me. No,
yes.
That program's really neat, and you said Mammoth Cave Transplants. She is one of my favorite people because if she heard you say, maybe I'll be her one day, she would laugh and be like, give me a break. There's bigger, there's better.
Yeah.
It's a very humble group, and Matt talks about that all the time. Farmers in general are very humble. That group is so open to help and talk to each other. So I think that's awesome. And I think we've plugged literally every program we have here. I mean, we're on it.
You brought every program out.
Good. I'm glad I did my part.
So the best place for just average Joe that listens to this podcast to find your farm, Facebook maybe to start with?
Yes, I think Facebook's probably our biggest advertising. That's where we're going to announce, when we open and things that we have. We always post, we feature our hanging baskets. And I forgot last Friday, but I do a Flower Talk Friday. Cool. And I feature all of our perennials that we're having. Just trying to show people what we have and get it out there so that they might know what they want before they even come. So, but I do a lot of TikToks, Instagram, probably not as much, but Facebook will definitely keep you posted on everything for sure. But and if I want to point this out, I'm not really sure why Google does this, but you might want to just put our address in your GPS because if you click on it from Facebook, it takes you to our orchard. Oops. Yes. I don't know why. We've tried to fix it. So it could be fixed by now, but I have several people will call and I'm like, I'm in a field with trees. And so, but yeah, just plug that address in and it'll take you right to us. We have signs. We even have a big Farm Bureau sign on the corner.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Well, we'll put some of that in the show notes. And again, can't thank you enough. Enjoy the weekend at the Women's Conference.
Yes,
and congrats again, if you haven't heard it enough. Congrats on being Farm Woman of the Year. That's incredible.
Thank you. Yes, it's brought us to light quite a bit. We've talked to a lot of people since I won that award, so it's pretty awesome.
Yes, congrats.
But thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you, Kori, and thank you, listeners. Be sure to subscribe to our larger podcast, Kentucky Farm Life, and we'll see you next time on Between the Rows.